So, the channel download that I have for this reading is that your greatest success isn't going to come until you embrace your authenticity. God made you different, so don't mess that up by trying to be someone else. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Ace of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the foundation of the reading. Now, this just followed exactly what I said, because this is hand of God, handing you your purpose that was custom made just for you and your path. But instead of taking this blessing in the exact form that the divine gives it to you, you decide, you know what? I don't really like that. I'm going to go down this path, a path that has already been carved out by other people, confirming what I said to be true at the beginning of the reading with my channel download. This entire reading is about becoming your authentic you, Sag, because this is where you are going to have the biggest breakthroughs of your life. I feel that a lot of you have been working towards something for a very long time, and maybe you just haven't been seeing the breakthroughs that you feel you deserve. It has nothing to do with any sort of lack of talent or lack of ability or not knowing how to do something correctly. It has to do with the fact that you are selling yourself short by not embracing all of your rough edges, all of the things that make you great, all of the things that people want to see, all of that authenticity. You are here to march to the beat of your own drum. And stop overthinking whether or not people are going to receive you. Just be you. And don't allow that worry to reshape how you are showing up inside the collective. I feel that I'm picking up on a whole group of Sages that are about to have some really massive breakthroughs in their life. But this message is going to be the key to fully stepping into this new space and embracing everything that the divine has given you in the exact form that they've given it to you. I'm also picking up something here about subconsciously mirroring what others are doing on their path to try and fit in to some sort of social norm. Now, this is something that everybody can resonate with because that's the kind of world we live in. Everybody just wants to be accepted. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody just wants to be okay. And sometimes it's easy to fall into these kinds of dynamics. Sometimes it can be useful because it can help you find your own way. Of course, when it comes to arts and things like this, being influenced by others or inspired by others is part of what makes you. But there's a difference between being inspired and flat out trying to imitate somebody else, right? You know, I used to know this Sag. She was very beautiful. She was very authentic in her own way. And all of those parts of her I found to be very magnetic, but she would always fall into these spaces where she was trying to look like somebody else and trying to act like somebody else. And she was really selling herself short because she didn't want to embrace who she authentically was. Now, this can really speak about deeply embedded traumas, things that we pick up on our path, things that people tell us about ourselves as we're growing up that aren't true. They're really just projections. And unless you're doing that shadow work, you're going to carry that with you. And you're also going to carry a story that is not yours. So if you are feeling this way, Sag, and again, this is something that we all deal with. You don't even have to be a Sag. I feel as though you may want to put some focus on where that point of impact regarding that trauma originated. If you are having a difficult time stepping into authentic you, the way you are showing up in the here and now is being directly influenced by something that exists in your past that needs to be healed. So essentially, inner child healing. What do we have at the sacral, please? The world, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy. Now, this world is really highlighting what I just said in regards to some messages here helping you to get this breakthrough. Because as you can see, we're on approach. We're behind this world card. So here you are, you're getting ready to step through this portal, but you're not quite through it yet. It's as if this is a vision of future you. We're looking down a portal, so to speak, and preparing you for what is about to unfold in your life. The Ace of Pentacles next to the world, this is a huge energy. And depending on what it is you're doing on your path, this is a worldwide kind of success energy. And, you know, worldwide success is not something that is very difficult to attain these days because we have social media. You could have a social media platform that people access from all over the world. This is how worldwide success shows up in our lives at this current time. But whatever the case here, there does seem to be something where you have a reach, you have an influence. And this world card is coming up right at the sacral, which is all connected to your passion and your creativity. But the only way that you are going to be able to access this in its fullest capacity is by, again, becoming the authentic you that God sent you here to be. And you know, it's so interesting because I have a Sag placement in my Venus. So relationship, love, all these sorts of things. And when I think back on some of my first relationships, I was always comparing them to what others had, or always wanting to be in relationships that impressed other people. And they never lasted because they lacked authenticity. They lacked real love. So in that sector of my life, I was functioning in the shadow nature of that Venus in Sag placement. Some of you, I'm hearing, also have that same placement. And that little message might give you a bit of insight into why you may be having some blockages in your love life. And what really made me realize that I had healed that side of myself is when I started to get into relationships where I wanted to keep them to myself. I didn't want to tell people about them because I didn't want the outside world to ruin them, rather than wanting my relationships to be in the spotlight as a means to gain other people's acceptance. It's like you're trying to impress people who shouldn't even really matter to you, people you don't even know. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Hierophant, so the divine, God, showing up here. So this right here, these three cards are the message I'm getting here. It's like God, the divine, has given you something that is unique to you, that is a custom fit for who you are and how you're supposed to show up inside the collective. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Ten of Swords. Gemini energy at the solar plexus. The biggest problem with not embracing who you are uniquely is the fact that if you're not going to do that, then who is? It's almost as if when you don't do that, a part of you dies, a part of you that never gets to experience the world the way that God wanted that part of you to experience the world. It's also like relinquishing your mission. It's like we all have these paths in life that are unique to just us. And unless you embrace your own path, this suggests that you are walking down another path that somebody else has already gone down. Now, not everybody gets this right. In fact, a lot of people mess this up, especially when you're younger. If you don't have the right influence around you that is encouraging you to embrace you and everything that makes you great, which includes your flaws. See, flaws, I think, are great because some of those flaws are what set you apart from everybody else. There's a rarity in embracing your own self-expression, which is incredibly valuable. And when you begin to understand this, when you begin to accept that side of you, sky is the absolute limit. But you need to understand that until you do this, you're essentially driving the swords in your own back, destroying a part of you that's meant to be experienced by the world. There's a part of you here, Sag, that I feel is trying to blend in rather than standing out. And that's just not who you are. Someone should be able to look at a giant stadium of people, and with all those tens of thousands of people, somehow they can find you. You're the one jumping up, making some crazy face, screaming at the top of your lungs, or maybe wearing some wild outfit. You are meant to be that person that walks into the room and everybody kind of looks at you sideways because they don't even know what they are looking at. That's the kind of uniqueness that you encompass, and you must start embracing this part of you. A portal is preparing to open up for you, but you got to be brave, and you have to really go for it. Some of you have gotten to the point where you've given up on something because you feel like it's not going to happen for you, but that's not it at all. You just need to change your approach. You need to get back to the basics. It's almost as if you've complicated things too much. It's far more difficult and complicated trying to be something that you're not, or rather trying to be something that you think would be more easily accepted by others. We live in a time where the less you care, the more opportunity you are going to have to break through, because people are craving authentic individuals that they can connect and relate to. People want to feel seen. People want to feel heard. And if you can be somebody who can be a beacon of light for those people because your story, your path, and your natural form of expression is authentic to them and their path, you couldn't possibly begin to imagine what's waiting for you out there. And these 3 cards are also speaking about what I said earlier on in the reading, about a path that is unique to you, but you say, nah, I think I'm going to walk down this path. 10 of Swords. The path that's unique to you, Ace of Pentacles, which leads to this portal to your success, the world. But then, nah, I'm just going to do it this way. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Knight of Swords, the Fool, the High Priest. Wow, 8 of Wands, 2 of Swords. Wow, okay, I could just keep going here. So Knight of Swords, lifestyle changes. The Divine is encouraging you to follow your higher guidance here with this High Priestess. Step out on faith with the Fool here, card 0, and start embracing this path. Don't give up on you. Just put to rest that version of you trying to control the outcome too much, which puts you on somebody else's path, which creates this 8 of Wands, which is your energy, Sag. 2 of Swords. Yeah, it's like you're at this point in your life right now. 2 of Swords is a crossroads kind of energy where you've been going down this path and things they're just not taking off, or they're not moving the way that you thought they would. And the Divine is trying to say to you, hey, look, you were never supposed to go down that path. You were supposed to go down this path. So essentially a course redirection is what is needed now. Oh, wow. Okay, so I just switched decks, and I get the Knight of Swords again, and it's on the bottom of this deck. So we're right on target here. Lifestyle changes, course redirection, literally followed what I just said. You know, we live in this world that breeds so much insecurity in each one of us. But I can tell you, based on my own experience, the more that I really accept myself for who I am, the more at peace I obviously feel, and the more success I've seen in my own life. When you can really open up and allow the Divine to give you the blueprint that they have for your life, and you begin to follow that, you're going to find it's actually way better than the path that you were on or what you could ever think for your own life. A lot of you have these true heart's desires, and this is all still very accessible to you, Sag. But the only way you access this stuff is by following your higher guidance, right? We make plans and God laughs. That's okay. Typically, every single one of us is not going to get this right from the get-go. It doesn't happen. Life happens. And pretty much 100% of the time, it's supposed to go that way anyway because of the amount of wisdom that you gain from that. It can be very useful to go down the wrong path for an extended period of time because you learn a lot of lessons there. And then when you finally align with your true north, you're so much better for having learned some lessons to get to that point. You can have 100 failures and 1 success, but that success makes up for all those 100 failures, which I feel leads me to my next message here, Sag, is that you're afraid of embracing who you authentically are because you don't want to fail at it. That's quite deep. I get it. But failure is something that we decide. Changing your mindset around how it works is quite often the key to your breakthrough. Knowing that you're probably going to fail before you get it right is perfectly fine because you're narrowing your paths to that failure. This is something that I mention all the time, and it's coming up here now. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the 8 of Cups, Pisces energy, and Ace of Pentacles again. Okay, so we have this twice now. And see how this Ace of Pentacles is a little different? Look, there's your path, right? Your unique path. And see how there's the pinnacles of success back there? And it's as if the Divine is kind of, well, it's like they're holding this pentacle for you, which is the blessing, right? Which is everything that makes you unique. They're holding it for safekeeping, saying, hey, Sag, you got to come down this path if you want to access this. But then here you are, 8 of Cups. You're sort of in this energy where you're not embracing your authenticity. This is what you need to withdraw from. It's a path that you have been down many times, and you wind up at the exact same space. Why didn't it work out? I put so much time and effort into that. And the Moon's like, I wonder when they're going to finally get it. That the greatest parts of themselves they haven't even embraced yet. What do we have at the throat, please? Tower in reverse. Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy at the throat. Unbelievable. This literally followed everything I just said here because this is an energy of fear and just avoiding the changes necessary to step onto your path. In a nutshell, it's you being scared to embrace your uniqueness. It's like somebody who's a great singer. They've got this really unique voice, right? But whenever they do recordings or whenever they sing, they want to sound like everybody else except them. So when people listen to their music, they go, oh, you sound just like so-and-so. They never say, wow, your voice is so unique, which is really sad because they're doing themselves a great disservice because that unique voice of theirs, in some cases, might eclipse the people that they're trying to sound like. Tower at the throat chakra. Okay, so right there, communication. Now, this can speak for many things. It doesn't have to be just music. That's just an example I gave. So you place it as it fits in your own life. But it really just speaks about your unique expression. And you know, Sag, you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that not everybody is going to like what you do. In fact, most people probably won't like what you do, but there's going to be a huge portion of people that love you, and that's all that matters. This is something that I've really had to learn to accept, having my YouTube channel here. Having a tarot channel is very unforgiving. As soon as somebody hears something they don't like, they give you a thumbs down, they unsubscribe, and, you know, it can be sort of disheartening at first, but you get used to it and you take the good with the bad because there's still countless thousands of other people that appreciate what you do, right? But having said that, there's other things I work on in my life creatively behind the scenes, and I have been able to embrace my uniqueness in some of those areas based on what I've learned about having this channel here. You know, sometimes you can put out a video on YouTube and you get, 300 new subscribers, which is great. And then you look at the numbers and they show you all the people that unsubscribed, right? And maybe there's 50 or something. And it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong? So you want to stay out of that space, because if you start to analyze that too much, that's when you can really start to dilute your authenticity based on something that you think you may be doing wrong. Which leads me to the message of just trusting your path and what you're being guided to do. You know, I've really learned not to overthink the readings. When I do them, I just put them out, and then the universe positions those messages so people that need them find them. And there's also something very beautiful that happens when you can start to understand that everything is happening the way it's supposed to, especially when you surrender to your unique path. The highs, the lows, everything is as it should be. And at the end of the day, you need to remember that you are a vessel here, Sag. Whatever it is that the divine has assigned you to do in this life cycle, you need to trust in that it's all unfolding exactly in divine timing with the plan for you. But your full embrace is needed, your full trust is needed, and of course, your complete and utter authenticity in every aspect of you is needed. And then right on the bottom of the deck, Temperance. So Sag, that is your energy, and the Seven of Pentacles. So this energy of purpose, patience, alignment, going along with everything we're saying here. And then the Seven of Pentacles here is also an energy of patience and earned success. It's like you align with your path, your true north, the plan that the divine has for you, and then boom, all of a sudden, in due time, you're starting to reap the fruits for your labors. You're like, oh my God, I fully embraced my authenticity, and I'm actually starting to see some sort of movement in this area of my life. And I just heard, people love me. They really, really love me. Yes, Sag, that's right. They love you because you're being raw and real. You're not trying to fit into a space where you're not meant to. You're supposed to be that oddball, because typically what happens is when you step into that space, you realize that you're not the oddball at all. It's actually everybody else. Yeah, there's this fear here. I'm seeing on the bottom of this deck now, the Fool. So it's like you're afraid of stepping out on faith, or maybe you just need to work on your faith here. Death card. So there's a transformation looming for you, Sag. Wow, I just heard some of you would rather give up than embrace everything that is authentically you. So that tells me that there's definitely some shadow work you got to work through there. You know, another thing that I've also really learned by embracing my path and my uniqueness is that the more that you make your way down that path, the less you care what anybody else thinks. And the less you care what everybody else thinks, the more breakthroughs you begin to have. Because it's all of those things that stop you from becoming the person you're supposed to become. It's like you're tiptoeing around an idea of how people think you should be living your life, how people think you should be living your life, not how God told you to live your life. Think about that. Another human being telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. Ridiculous. Or an idea that you have in your mind that is based on something that has happened to you on your path. I'm also picking up something here about abandonment issues. Some of you might be dealing with this, which can lead to you being a people pleaser, so you can fit into a space so people accept you. But again, these are things that can begin to heal by doing the necessary shadow work. You know, Sag, as well, what you'll come to realize is that the people that projected those things onto you aren't even worthy of your time or energy. Most of them, if not all of them, have their own unhealed traumas. And as they go throughout their life, they just project that onto others. It's sort of like spreading a kind of disease, right? But it's spiritual in nature. When you're able to gain perspective over these sorts of things, it can help you to release those traumas and unearth them once and for all from the deep recesses of your subconscious mind. You know, people who make you feel that way are simply not worthy of your time, your energy, or even a second thought, let alone you completely rewriting your mission statement to fit into a space that they told you you need to be in. What do we have for the third eye, please? Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the third eye. Wow. So we just saw the Death card, Scorpio energy, which is all about transformation. And on this Four of Pentacles, we have death there, right? So Four of Pentacles, it's like you're holding back all of the things that make you unique. And then death is coming through, trying to bring an ending to that. So you release all of this beauty out into the world. Some of you Sages have gone a really big portion of your life, having yet to embrace the person that you truly are. It's like you have a whole new chapter here and you don't even know it. You think that you've reached the end when you haven't even reached the beginning yet. Doesn't matter how young, old you are, none of this matters. You arrive when you're supposed to arrive. There is no rule book for life. It literally does not exist. The way you interface with your own reality is based on the rules that you set for yourself and your path. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess, divine guidance, between worlds, High Priestess energy. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Strength, Leo energy at the crown. So now here you are, finally gathering the strength and the confidence to embrace the person that you're meant to become. I just heard it's only just begun, Sag. They've been waiting for you a very long time. Let's finally strip away all of those parts of you that don't allow you to embrace who you really are. Let it go. Free yourself of the chains that are binding you. Allow this version of you to become a memory of the past. Align with a new timeline where that dream, that vision you've always had for yourself exists. You're going to wake up from one day to the next, embracing that conscious awareness of that unique you that resides on an alternate timeline, a parallel reality, not accepting a definition of you that has been constructed by all of the things that you could have been, but rather rewriting the narrative for you, which states you will now be defined by all of the things that you are about to become. What do we have at the foundation, please? What do we have at the foundation? Too many cards. What do we have at the foundation? Wow. Ace of Pentacles stacked with Ace of Pentacles. But this reads as Ace of Pentacles in its negative polarity, an energy of a lost opportunity, the opportunity to be you into all your glory. It's like you've been going down this path for so long and you've reached this point where you've concluded, oh, well, I guess it just wasn't for me, huh? The Divine's like, no, Sag, no. It is. You've just been going the wrong way for a while. And this right here, this is the Divine blessing you with your authenticity, your uniqueness. But then this is you embracing the opposite. This is somebody who's meant to be a leader, but instead of leading, they follow a follower of you. It's like somebody trying to follow you, you're leading, right? But instead of leading, you get behind the person that's supposed to be following you. And that person that's following you is a carbon copy of you anyway. Wow. It's like being a carbon copy of the person that you are supposed to become. And this is something that we see all over the world right now. I suppose it's been like this for a long time, but it's increased a lot with social media. People want to fit in. And look, you know, when you think about some of the most significant and unique musical artists in history, going all the way back to, let's say, even the 40s and 50s, a lot of these people weren't necessarily known for their incredible technique. They were more known for their unique voice that they had, which allows them to stand the test of time. That's what makes you great. And, you know, when you think about all the artists in history that have just tried to sound like other people, eventually they just sort of fade into the background. They're the ones that probably could have been left out and everything still would have stayed the same. See, those unique voices are crucial because they have helped redirect the styles and trends over the decades. What do we have at the sacral, please? Queen of Cups at the sacral. That card came out leaning in reverse, but I automatically read these cards as reversals because they're negative polarities. They represent the principalities or the resistance or the shadow sides of these dynamics that are essentially trying to hold us back. Okay, now this Queen of Cups here, this is an energy of lacking confidence, doing too much to try and cover up the lack of confidence that truly exists there. And you know, there is something with Sages as well. There's this sort of self-discovery phase that they go through. Sometimes, again, like I mentioned earlier on in the reading, it takes longer to find your true voice. You are an explorer, so it's very common for you to try on different personas before realizing your own uniqueness and your greatest strengths, which really highlights everything I've been saying throughout this reading. So here you guys are, a lot of you, at the end of this path thinking it's over now, when no, you have literally just gained all of this wisdom, all of this experience. Now it's time to really become you. There's such an incredible opportunity here for you, Sag. I just really want all of you to take a big step back from what you may be seeing and experiencing right now and think about how you can take everything you've learned up until this point and use it as a way to finally embrace you. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Wow. Hermit, Furcus, Virgo energy. So the Hermit from this deck is an energy that's going the opposite way of their intended path. So South Node energy, which is what I've been getting throughout this entire reading. Going the wrong way, going down the wrong path. You're like, I've been down this path for so long. Repeating past mistakes over and over again, expecting a different result. And eventually this leads to withdrawing from what it may be that you were originally heading toward, because you just conclude that it's not for you, which is not the case. Here's the thing, Sag. If something is in alignment with your highest good and you can honestly tell yourself that what it is that you are going towards is for the betterment of you and the betterment of mankind. Now, that sounds like a big idea. It doesn't have to affect every person on the planet, but you are an incremental piece of the collective. You send out ripple effects without even knowing it. It could just speak about you impacting your environment, your surroundings, right? If you can honestly tell yourself that it would do that in a positive way, then it's in alignment with your path and what you should be doing. But you got to be honest with yourself as well. Yes, there needs to be a sense of raw talent in that area, which I don't think, based on what I'm getting here, that's the problem. What we've been getting is you not using the tools that were actually given to you. It's almost like you're using a set of hand-me-down tools when your tools are different. Ten of Swords with this Hermit, red in its negative polarity. This is like an energy of withdrawing and giving up. I just heard somebody say, I don't want to embrace my authenticity. I'd rather just give up. What do we have at the heart, please? Ace of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. Buer says right there, neglecting duties, right? So it's like you have been sent down here on a mission and you're neglecting it. So neglecting those parts of yourself. You'd rather just give up, like I just said, literally followed what we just channeled through. This can also speak about an energy where you're so worn thin because you're not getting it the way that you wanted to get it. But again, we make plans and God laughs, right? You need to fully surrender here, Sag. I've actually been through this, okay? And when I surrendered and just allowed God to give me the things that were intended for me to gather on my path, the way that the divine wants me to gather that, I was completely blown away. That's where your wildest dreams exist, Sag. Your wildest dreams are not something that you can access without divine guidance. You need God's help. You know, all the success that I've ever had in my life is all credit to God. It's nothing that I did at all. I just finally learned how to surrender and receive, but I can't take credit for anything. Unbelievable. Six of Pentacles, Taurus energy, Aladia, divine grace. So this Six of Pentacles here is you now in this giving and receiving energy with the divine, with God. You understand how this works now. Surrender and receive. Stop trying to control every facet of the outcome here. That's not your job. You're supposed to be an empty vessel that receives higher guidance. We are all avatars. It's sort of like you're playing a video game and you're a certain character in the game. You're controlling that character. What would happen if that character just started controlling itself and you lost control of it? That's what this is. The divine controls you, tells you where to go. Divine guidance. You are the vessel. You do not have the vantage point or the perspective to see which way to go on your path. And until you fully understand what I'm trying to present to you here, you will keep evading your own success. What do we have at the throat, please? Unbelievable. Just followed what I said. Again, Ten of Cups, Pisces energy, A'al, God, master of the universe, divine warrior, confounds the wicked, brings victory and peace. And see how there's three individuals here? There's your inner child, right? Like we've been talking about throughout this reading. Here's you in the here and now consoling that inner child. And then here's your higher self, right? Hanging out at divine headquarters, essentially controlling you. You're the avatar, right? Telling you, hey, look, just surrender. Don't try and do so much. We got this. And it's right underneath that tower, so just getting out of your own way. This Ten of Cups is also an energy that represents alignment, a kind of convergence of timelines. I feel that a lot of you are going to take the parts of this reading that you need to get this breakthrough here, Sag. You have to. This is just too big. There's something so extraordinary here for you. And this is the kind of energy as well, where when you get on the other side of this, right, once you really understand what's going on here, you're going to have this story to tell. I can see you in my mind's eye telling other people that need assistance with similar. Yeah, you know, I was going down this path. I was doing this year after year after year, working really hard, and I just wasn't seeing the breakthroughs and couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And then I just started to realize that I was doing myself a great disservice by not embracing all the parts of me that made me unique and special and authentic. As soon as I started to do that and I just surrendered, boom, practically happened overnight. Yes, this is what I'm getting here. And then right on the bottom of the deck, Chariot, victory, Wheel of Fortune, there it is. Success, aligning with your destiny. What do we have at the third eye, please? Boom. Now we are talking, Sag, the magician, Nathea, the generous god, spiritual wisdom and magic, helps one gain wisdom and discover hidden secrets. Powerful. So this is you actually realizing your own unique potential now. It's an energy of focusing all your creativity on the elements, right? Magician has all the elements: fire, earth, air, and water. Focusing all those elements on all of the things that make you special, and now understanding that that is the ingredient that turns all of your visions into reality, the reality that you were always meant to have, not the reality that was influenced by another path, a detour that you took without knowing it. What do we have at the crown to close this out for Sag, please? Chariot. So we just saw the Chariot, and it came out. Michael, who is like God, perseverance, success in conflict, overcoming adversity, victory, Sag. And see how you're stepping over this beast? It's almost like that beast is representing the shadow sides of yourself that were not allowing you to embrace yourself. And like I mentioned earlier on in the reading, that can all be byproducts of trauma that has impacted you on your path. That's why it's important to do that shadow work, right? Connect with those parts of you. Go back in time. Think about that version of you that dealt with that. Try and get some sort of closure, spiritually speaking, with that earlier version of yourself. Help be there for that version of yourself that quite possibly no one else could be there for. And then watch, like magic, how it changes the you in the here and now, giving you just what you need to get that breakthrough. Sag, this is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Sag. Take care.